turn the keys, tempo, hey time, let's go.
We bring that real talk when it comes to sports, covering the news, giving you the truth. Nothing but that real on hoops in the league. All things NFL, we don't miss a thing. Getting with the coverage, we loving it all day. Picking up the news, tell us wherever the ball lay. With the NFL, NBA, they box so. Sports news in the hands of a man with fair takes. Tell them, coach, statistics and realness that's being spoke. Either hit it for the win or they hitting the goal posts. Either way, we woke up to the news of the day. Any Kenny could call it, he like to talk it out with Ray. Fast breaks down the lane, they better move out the way, or they pullin' from perimeter. Curry bury the trade, yeah they got it. Woo! Duval with the hottest. Chris and Dev like to master and mix it up like it's Logic being modest. They been looking for that real, trying to get it feel. Sports podcast, they running back on the real. That's a steal, yeah. They never sick, but they ill. Real sports talk going, deliver signed and sealed. We bring that real talk when it comes to sports, covering the news, giving you the truth. Nothing but that real on hoops in the league. All things NFL, we don't miss a thing.
What's going on, everybody? We are here on NBA free agency eve, so to speak. I'm sure we will have a lot of things going on. Hopefully tonight or into the early morning, we're already starting to get some news and reports on things, specifically James Harden, which is why I'm so glad to have Chris with us. But before we get into all of that, fellas, how are we feeling? Our teams have all been active up to this point. How are we feeling going into free agency? Dev, I'll start with you.
Well, so far so good. You know what I mean? It looks like some signs that Lakers is trying to go ahead and extend the office to Austin Reaves and Rui. So far so good. Hopefully we can bring them back, because that'd be some nice key young guys to bring back to the squad with some, possibly with all this chitter chat, this LeBron last year as the Laker. You ever see the little meme that they projecting Bronny to go to Atlanta?
I have.
So he was like, "Well, this is my last year. I'm going to team up with my son." Blah blah blah. So
is this the last year of his deal?
That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing it is. This is last year of his deal.
Oh wow. Okay, that brings a little perspective to tonight's conversation. I thought he had two more. I have seen that he's projected to go a little bit later. So Bronny, that is. So okay. Chris, sir, how you feeling?
I don't know how to feel. I remember on this show saying when we lost, I was done with this team. I didn't care who we got rid of. Then I sat down and I watched the finals and I watched the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm like, if this team was the only, I don't even want to say lock-in, but if a switch was the flip, we could easily been in the finals the past couple of years. And
Boogie, you get in the shower?
And so now that I see we're about to get rid of Harden, there's a lot of questions I have, but I'll say that for later. Right now, I'm just confused. That's how I sum it up. I'm confused for my team, happy for other teams.
Yeah, I said it, I think, on the last episode. I don't know what a lot of these GMs are doing. I know they get paid a lot of money, but I still, like I said, I came back to like a C- for the Wizards, but I don't understand what we're doing. We just traded again for more second round picks. We have like the Guinness Book of World Records for second round picks, and we don't draft well in the second round. So I don't understand at all, unless we plan to package a bunch of these and move up or to go get a different player. I don't get it. And we talked about it last offseason when Harden took less money, and it was like so that he could be free this summer. But I think at that point, the expectation was he would re-sign. And now he's looking, to opt in and go elsewhere. Chris, I'll ask you, do you think Is this a Harden issue? Is this he doesn't trust the front office? Is it him and Embiid was beefing? Is it the fact that they're trying to trade Tobias Harris and he thinks it's a rebuild? Like, it seems a little awkward at his position to want to trade when a lot of the better teams already have point guards.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about Harden because I'll say this: when he took less money, on that contract when we signed him, the idea was okay. He's going to prove himself this year. He's going to have a good playoff run. Then he's going to be rewarded. And now we're stuck because he had a terrible semifinal. I don't care the good games he plays. Them couple bad games outweighed every single good game. You didn't perform when it mattered. So you could say, okay, maybe he shouldn't get rewarded, but at the end of the day, you traded everything for this guy. You put all the last of the trust the process went into bringing in James Harden, and obviously this has not worked. It failed, and I don't know what else we could do with James. I mean, we gave him basically the keys to the offense, kind of with Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is out of here, so you were part of getting a new coach because I felt like the Sixers picked James ahead of Doc. And I don't think Tobias Harris really matters to me on whether James will stay. So, and if the fact that he wants to be traded is just, where do you go? And in my opinion, when I look at the Sixers, I know this is more his guy. You should have no loyalty to James Harden because what has he done for you in Philadelphia? He's done nothing. So I don't care if you got to trade him to the worst team in the league to get back what's best for the Sixers. You do that. You do not send him where he wants to go. Sorry, Ray. I'm about to take a shot at your Wizards. You don't send him where he wants to go. Even though he had no trade clause. And I see other teams do that. I seen the Nets do that. You don't send him where he wants to go. You send him where you get the best package deal if you trade him. Hopefully he doesn't get traded. Hopefully he signs a contract. We bring him back because we're stuck. We're stuck with James Harden. You say you didn't, to see a long-term future. Some Sixers fans, we ask, then why'd you trade for him? Because now essentially you ruined our championship window. You could have got a younger guy, maybe in a Halliburton, and you could have built around that lesser contract, and you could have built the team up. Embiid still in his prime. But now you kind of shorten his window, and we get rid of Harden. Our championship, hopes and dreams are out of here. Because I highly doubt we'll be able to get a good enough package for us to compete. I hope we can. But I don't know, one, where he goes and what we get back. So, again, the Sixers, if you trade him, I don't care if you got to trade him to the worst team in the league. You better get back something that's going to make us a contender or something that's going to help us build real fast.
So, and I guess that's my question. And me, I'll do worst case scenario. If you trade Harden, I think the other part for me that's interesting about Harden is we've kind of talked about it. Point guard is probably the deepest position in the NBA, especially for contenders. And it's the deepest position this free agency. When you got Kyrie, Russell Westbrook, Fred VanVleet, and some others, the biggest of names are free agent point guards. So I think Harden's leverage is kind of weak. But if Harden leaves, they've been trying to trade Tobias Harris for like 2 years. There's been talks about what they're asking for from him. If he's gone, or you move him too, if I'm Joel Embiid, why the heck I'm staying here? So I don't really now you're about to be processing all over again. So I'm kind of confused by a lot of the way they've been handling all these situations. You gave up Ben Simmons and everybody killed Ben Simmons, but I don't like what have they said? And I don't follow local Philly news, but what is the thought process? Like, Harden is not Harden of old, so you're probably not going to get back the best packages anyway. So is it rebuild time for y'all, or do you think you can retool with trading those two, or what?
I'll say the get rid of Tobias Harris, and that's been in talks because of the contract, not his play. I hear him come out and say 6'9" forward that can do this and do that. Well, you don't do that consistent enough. So that's why we want you going. It has nothing to do with your play. You was making $20 million a year. We wouldn't complain about you. We root for you. But the fact that you make so much, you take so much off the books, and you're not helping the team how you should be is an issue. So that's the only issue with Tobias. I like Tobias' game, even though he's very inconsistent. But like I said, if he's making 20 mil less or at least 17 mil less, nobody would complain as much as we do about him. When it comes to James Harden, to my knowledge, I don't think the Sixers were trying to trade him going into the offseason. It was all about bringing him back because you understood that you gave up everything. You gave up everything for him. So you can't really let him go. Or you can't really trade him because it's going to set you back. And we love Tyrese Maxey, 20-point per game scorer. Probably if Harden leaves, has the ability to be, potential all-star, but still that's not a championship winning team. So I think if all accounts, really, we want Harden back because we're stuck with Harden. Like you said, it's a free agent, it's a point guard free agent market. So if you're trading for Harden, you might not get the best thing in return. So sadly, I really feel like the Sixers are stuck with him. And if we do trade him, I don't know where we trade him to when we get back a comparable package. I honestly don't. Unless it's to sign and trade maybe with Toronto. I really can't think of anything else.
Harden will be pissed.
I don't care. This is my thing. I do not care. Like the only
but Toronto
I don't care.
If they trade for Harden, he's gonna be pissed being in Toronto versus Houston.
Again, I don't care. I don't. James Harden, to me, he has no right to be pissed. He has no right to be pissed because you could be a 2-3 time NBA champion right now. If you performed how you should in the playoffs, you could be at least a 2-time NBA champion. But the fact of the matter is, you were given the keys when you got here, especially this year. You were healthy. On the regular season, you led the league in assists, putting up 20 and 10. In the playoffs, you started decent. Against the Celtics, you had a couple of decent games, but when we needed you most, you didn't come through. And he has nobody but to blame. Joel Embiid has nobody but to blame but themselves. I don't care about the front office. I don't care about Tobias Harris' contract. We're in this predicament right now because our 2-star players did not deliver. Look at Jokic and look at Murray. You talk about a 2-man game. I think the two, you got Jokic and Murray, you got Embiid and Harden. Very good 2-man games. Who succeeded and who fell through and who did what they had to do to win the championship? Jokic and Murray. Joel Embiid and Harden should be taking notes because there's no way you're performing that much worse than them two. Harden, there's no way that people consider Jamal Murray a better guard than you. Former MVP, you're a 35-point per game scorer, and you don't even look at the rim. You dribble off your foot. He needs to look in the mirror because right now the way he's acting, I don't think he deserves. I said he deserves to act how he wants to act, but his recent playoff performances, when he's been looked at as the guy, is terrible. So he needs to humble himself. Come back to Philly on a good deal, and let's make this run. You feel me? Like, listen, I'm gonna talk my trash as a Sixers fan, but at the end of the day, we only talk trash about our players because we know what they can do. If you're trash, we're gonna call you trash. But if we know you're a vital piece for us to win the championship, we're gonna hold you to a certain standard, and that's the standard Harden is being held to. So hopefully we bring him back. I'll say that. But if we trade him, I look at the Eastern Conference right now, and I don't know who I'm scared of. But Boston. Let me take that back. Boston to me is clear cut the best team in the East. Everybody's trying to be
after the Marcus Smart trade.
Yeah, clear cut to me. When I say best team in the East, and now I'm looking at that 5-man lineup towards the end of the game, I look at that lineup and it's
it's a good lineup.
It's a very good. If everybody's healthy, it's the best lineup in the East. If everybody's healthy, that's the best lineup. The best.
In 3 days, we might feel different, but
we might feel different. But as of right now, I'm looking at Boston and what they've done, and they're my favorite team right now. I don't know about Milwaukee. The Cavaliers, for some reason, I saw that Garland's up for trade.
I think Windhorst came back and backpedaled. He said something that I guess was a little flagrant, and people ran with it, but he backpedaled and said they're not trading either.
Yeah, thank you, because that was gonna. They picked Mitchell over Garland. I was gonna, lose all hopes for Cleveland. But right now, Boston to me is the team to beat. I know Miami just went to the finals, but when I'm looking at it, Boston has that best 5, and I feel like everybody's playing catch up. So not saying if the Sixers trade Harden, we get back a an average deal that we're going to make a run. But I just want the Sixers to be competitive. I can't do the trust the process again. I fooled myself to watching that trash basketball, and I can't do it again. That was bad basketball.
It was. Just quick update. Last week we touched on the big three. And Ice Cube said he was going on a tour, and I just saw he posted 2 hours ago. He went on Joe Rogan. So Joe Rogan is the biggest podcast in the world. I don't have Spotify, so I can't watch the episode, but he said he was about to go on this tour, and we gonna see what happens. But just kind of an aside to our audience, since we did talk on the big three last week. But Dev, your thoughts on everything Philly, and where do you think James Harden goes? Like, is the process starting again? Like, what do you think?
Philly.
So where you can react.
You know, I mean,
I was talking about my Wizards. That's
but
all
then,
Oh no,
but
we not
Philly,
as bad as them.
Philly. If you saying that Boston is the best team in the East, man, and in my opinion, I still think Boston took a step back. I don't see Boston being that top seeded team, and then when you lose that dog and Marcus Smart, man, it's just like, whoa, who's going to bring the fight every night now? Because we seen that Tatum doesn't bring the fight every night. We seen that Brown can bring the fight some nights, but it just don't want to bring the fight every night also. So now we gotta see who's going to do all the dirty work for Boston now. So, and I'm not sold on Porzingis being a dirty work guy. Is he probably going to protect the rim a little bit? Maybe just a little bit, but scoring wise, it fits Boston. But I think that what Boston really missed last year was just defense. You know what I mean? That's what Coach Udoka had preached to them and had got them to the finals was defense. And then, you know, their talent pretty much took over for them. So I'm not clear to say Boston is the top team in the East. I think I might still slide with Milwaukee with a healthy Giannis. We've seen that Giannis can take over a game, and he's been showing his blueprint for the last 6-7 years. You know what I mean? So with a healthy Giannis, with a hopefully they can build around him, keep the Drew Holiday, maybe keep Chris Middleton if he decides to come back. You know what I mean? I still like Milwaukee. But far as Philly, man, and Embiid and Harden, I think that's the best bet for him to come back because I don't really see him fitting anywhere else unless he's ready to come back off the bench. If Harden is sold to say, look, I'm ready to be six man how I started my career, I really don't see him starting anywhere else. I don't see a good fit for him. I don't see a good fit as a Clipper, especially with this whole Kawhi and you don't know what you want to do with PG. And I don't really see as a good fit as New York now that Jalen Brunson is your guy that handles the offense. Mm-hmm. So if James Harden is not ready to be coming off that bench, Philly is the best bet for him. And Philly they messed themselves up in that Ben Simmons trade. I think when they gave up Ben Simmons, they also gave up a lot of key pieces like a Seth Curry, it was somebody else in that deal that y'all also gave up too. And I felt like that's when you start breaking down the depth of your team, that's when your team really start falling apart and you try to go top heavy. And we all see that when you go top heavy, you can't go against a team like the Denver Nuggets, who's built from top to bottom. You know what I mean? Good role players, got the two stars up there, and you got good coaching. So everything had fit, right for them from top to bottom. Everybody was willing to buy into their role. And if you check back each championship, every champion team role players brought into their role, whether it's the 2000 Lakers, whether it's the 90s Bulls, whether it's the 2002 Pistons. You know what I mean? Those teams, they had their stars, but everybody else just like, I know my role and I'm going to just play my role to perfection. And like I said, as far as Philly, they don't have nobody to play these roles. After Maxey, you kind of start wishing like, oh, I hope Tobias Harris play. Oh, I hope somebody else step up. What's the name? DeAnthony
Anthony
Miller.
Melton, yeah.
Yeah, you just kind of hoping that they'll step up, and everybody's not gonna get a Miami Heat team with those guys that can just step up and take it to a final. So I think that Philly really going to have to, when you bring James Harden back, you're going to have to leave some money in that pot to actually build that bench also. I think that's the only way Philly can get out the East if they deep on that bench.
Listen, man, send Harden to Atlanta and give me DeJounte Murray and Bogdanovich, man.
That'd be good. And because once upon a time,
It's not going to happen, though, but
I was hoping that Jaylen Brown kind of was swindle his way out of Boston and to go down to Philly. I think that Jaylen Brown and Embiid offense would be a good fit for y'all.
Unless we're going to have a guard. If we have a guard that's that can really play make, that's the only way that works. Because after what I saw from Brown, he's not a guy that can really run a 2-man because he doesn't have the dribbling.
I would think Maxey would be your guard.
But when I mean, like, you know how we talk about well, it's really me and Kenny, kind of a pat not pass first, but a guard that can really get others involved. Maxey's more of like a pull. He's looking at his job is to create his own shot, and he did it well. 43% from the 3-point line, 20+ points. He's not really a guy that's going to okay, I know I got to get Embiid involved. Okay, I need Jaylen Brown got to get an easy shot. That's not really his role. Not saying that he can't adapt, but I don't want to if it's not broke, don't fix it type of thing. So if we was to get a scoring guard or forward, we'd have to bring in another guard that can honestly play make. And Maxey's going to have to stay in the 6-man role, which I think is fine because he's the only life coming off that bench consistent.
So, given the landscape, Harden wants to trade. What if you in a perfect world? Who do you want to go get?
I mean, a perfect world, like I said, I would love a DeJounte Murray, but I would need more. I would need a DeJounte Murray, and I would have to either Hunter or Bogdanovich. I would need both of those guys in a perfect world.
For Harden when they got Trae Young still there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you said. A perfect world, my perfect world. This is my perfect world. Okay. If you want to go to Toronto route, and then again, like when I'm trading Harden, I kind of want 2 guys back. Like if I get a Van Vliet, I want to see if we can throw some stuff in there to sneak in an OG Anunoby. Again, this is a perfect world, right? Perfect world.
You might as well go get Pascal Siakam for all that. Then if it's the perfect world, you might as well go
realistic perfect world. Let me
I'm being realistic, but at the end of the day, like it's really a lot of teams kind of have their point guards. I don't see a team. No. Unless you're bringing me back a Drew Holiday and all their role players, I don't see what guard
role players.
I mean, yeah, all of them. I don't see what team is really trading away. I don't see. I'll say this: if we're going guard for guard, there's not a lot of teams available that's going to move their guard. If I'm bringing in a forward, Paul George, right? I love it on paper, but again, now my 2 best guys really are injury prone, and Paul George and Embiid. So when Philly right now, this should be their mindset. You got 1 or 2 options. You trade for them now and still try to win, or you try to bring in some future assets. You still want players. You're still going to be able to make the playoffs.
But don't do that. You're going to waste Embiid time.
That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, that's true. But that's how you got to look at it if you're Philadelphia. You're either going to go all in. But if you're going to all in, again, you have to go all in with the right guy. When I look at Nick Nurse, whoever you bring in has to be able to buy into what Nick Nurse does. It can't be another mishap with Harden because, again, one, I don't mean to go on a tangent, but I knew the trust the process was over when you messed up in the draft. Not drafting Markelle Fultz. Nope. It's when you drafted Mikal Bridges and traded him for Zaire Smith. I don't know why that happened. I think that was like the league told him that they couldn't draft that well. But that's when everything messed up. Because imagine Mikal Bridges on this team. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Good fit.
I'm gonna just leave it at that. But the point, but like I said, in a perfect world, DeJounte Murray would be one of my favorites to bring in, like a Van Fleet and OG Wananobi would be amazing. And like I said, if you're going to bring in a forward, you got to get kind of a playmaking guard. And there's not that many out right now that I'm a fan of, honestly. So the Sixers are stuck. Option one needs to be bring back Harden and get rid of Tobias. And we're again, Tobias is not because of his play, even though he is very inconsistent. He was making 20 mil less. We wouldn't care as much. You make too much money, and you're not performing how you should be performing. Like, I'll pull up his stats.
Who would you rather take, PJ Tucker or Tobias Harris?
For the money?
Harry on the team. I understand it's a different tax bracket, but if you're trying to build for a championship team, who you taking, Tobias Harris or PJ Tucker? One of them got to go.
I'll say this. 2-3 years ago, I'm probably taking PJ Tucker, but he really didn't show me anything until the last 1 or 2 games in Boston. Honestly, I love PJ Tucker and what he does, and he's for the playoffs. And maybe because we didn't make a deep playoff run, I didn't get to see the best of PJ Tucker. But I think
you gotta learn how to put the ball down.
I think he that too. But you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So in my opinion, we try to find, sadly, we traded Matisse Thybulle for McDaniels, and on paper, he's the guy you would want in that lineup. A big forward that can run the floor, that can shoot, that can defend. But you're hoping to find these diamonds in a rough. And right now, Philly might have to go for a short thing. When I look at Tobias, let's see his past couple of years. He averaged 14 points, 15 points this year. It only took 11 to 12 shots. You got to be more aggressive, bro. Stop. Nick Young called him. If y'all follow Nick Young, hilarious guy. He called him. He got a corner boy. Nick Young likes to classify players as, what they do. I'm not going to go in depth because it's kind of outrageous. But basically, he's saying that Tobias is a certified corner man. Now you're going to stay in their corner and you're going to shoot when the ball is given to you. And for you to say that, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. I've seen when it's opportunities, sometimes you're very passive. So Tobias can go. Hopefully we can re-sign Harden. But I said if Harden goes, I'm gonna have to wait a little bit to react because I might say trade everybody. So I gotta wait. It depends on what we get. So I need to wait a little bit to react because I'm not. You don't want to hold your superstar too long and not do nothing. But it's going to hurt to watch your superstar go and be successful somewhere else when you had every single opportunity in the world. The Sixers literally, 2023, the past 5 years, had every single opportunity, maybe except for the bubble year, to be successful. And they can only blame themselves outside of maybe Kawhi hitting that shot. You can only blame yourself. So Brand, Morey, look in the mirror, bring me back a championship team. Until then, fly, Eagles, fly.
Boy, what a end to that. I'm very interested to see how this all plays out. I don't know. I feel like if you don't hurry up and trade them and point guards start signing, your options get even more limited. And yeah, I'm with you, trade them wherever, but even though some of the bad teams like Indiana got a point guard, Cleveland is a good team, they got a point guard. Detroit has a point guard. Like maybe Orlando, but what are you getting back from Orlando?
Nothing. You getting nothing. That's why it's like you're damned if you do, kind of damned if you nothing. So you just need to sign him to that big contract.
But if he don't want to sign it, then you can't make him sign it.
Yeah, if he don't want to sign it, I might turn it to James Harden hater. I really might. Only because it's like what else?
Like Philly fans take it to heart.
I think if Houston, and I'm kind of jumping a little bit. If Houston can sign Kuzma and not Van Vliet, because if you sign Van Vliet, you don't need Harden.
Yeah,
Kuzma and Dylan Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
I can trade some of that young core.
I don't want none of them. They all boo-boo, except for Jalen Green. It may be Kevin Porter.
Jalen Green, I don't think Jalen Green going nowhere.
Exactly. The rest of them, who do I want? I don't know why you drafted Thompson twin. Don't want him.
Jabari
Why
Smith?
don't want him? For James Harden, you think he's worth James Harden?
But that's the other part that I meant to bring this up. I don't know what the trade market is. I saw what Rudy Gobert got. I saw what Bradley Beal got. And then we've seen some of the other trades.
Bradley Beal only got that because there's no trade clause. I honestly truly think if there was a no trade clause, you would have got back a lot better. But to say that though, you kind of no, y'all folded. But listen, at the end of the day, I see what you're saying. The trade market, Rudy Gobert destroyed it.
He did. He messed it up.
He destroyed it because he.
You don't think that double whopper of cheese that Washington got for Bradley Beal wasn't good enough?
No cheese.
I'll take and I like the Chris Paul. I like Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
But to get that for Chris Paul, like I feel like you could have probably got better. I would think.
Y'all could have did a lot better, but we just gonna leave it at that.
Even when maybe I'm just basing this off of Washington, but even what we got for Porzingis, like I ain't like that. So if I'm James Harden at the end of my career in the last year of my deal, unless I sign an extension and sign and trade, he can dictate the terms. Because if he say I'm not signing an extension with whoever you trade me to, I'm not giving you nothing for him. Not without an insurance he signs the extension.
Where does he go and how does he even make an impact in the league anymore? Because now I'm going there. Like,
coming off the bench.
That's what I'm saying. He's going to have to come off the bench, or he's going to literally have to be. He's going to score 6 points a game and have 11 assists.
But he did opt in to the $35 million. You can't have $35 million sitting on your bench.
I know that.
CBA.
I know that, but my thing is that like
San Antonio
and who am I getting from San Antonio? Wembanyama?
No, you ain't getting them.
So what do I want from San Antonio?
You'll probably get Greg Popovich before you get
like this is my thing with Harden. Where does accountability come into play? For your mishaps in the playoffs for the past 7 years, where do you go and make an impact? Because you want to go somewhere and be a number one and just score and not win? Do you want to go to the Suns and just average 2 points and just throw them guys the ball? Like what do you want in your career? Because like I said, the past 6-7 years, you had opportunity after opportunity to win when the ball was in your hands. So to me, it's like, okay, maybe the pressure is too much on Harden. Maybe he's saying I can't be a number 1 or 2. Mike can't even be a number 3. Like that, so I might have to come out the bench and play 22 minutes. I might have to, me and Chris Paul might just have to be in a running for 6 man of the year, and mentor some young guys. That might have to be the next move for James Harden, because I just logically cannot see what he wants to do next in his career. Because what is him going to Houston other than playing non-winning basketball? Okay, you might mentor some young guys. So do you want to win?
Chicago?
What am I getting?
DeRozan or Levine?
And I need one more.
Patrick Williams.
Or get a Kobe White. Ain't he up or on his last of his deal?
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm cool, man. I already got Maxey. They all the same player. I'll take a Levine. Give me a Levine. I'll take a Patty Will. I'll take a Pat Bev on the team.
But outside of that, I just look at the standings. Indiana's not trading Halliburton.
Nope.
Washington, I don't know what else we got to offer.
But again, unless you trade him for a forward and bring in Van Leet, but that's your. But what forward is available that I can bring in? Paul George, but and don't get me wrong, I might be the biggest Paul George fan in the world, because I think when he's healthy, I can't name 10 guys talent wise. If everybody play how they should, I can't name 10 guys better than Paul George. But
New Orleans, Zion,
hell no.
Minnesota, you want Cat?
All right, y'all ready to move
on? That's big man ever.
Y'all ready to move on? What?
I'm just looking at the league. Utah could.
I
use a
don't want to. I don't want. If I trade in Harden,
Marketing?
I want
You
one
don't
through
want
three. I want
you
one
don't
through
want
three.
Jordan Clarkson from Utah?
I want 1 through 3. And if it's a 4, he got to be able to shoot and put the ball on the ground like a Laurie Marketing.
for Dame, but that won't help Portland because they got too many point guards as is.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, so the Sixers, like, it might have to be you trade him for a forward and you got to sign Van Fleet. That might have to be
that fast because Van Vliet talking about signing early. He might be signed in the next day or two.
And it's like the Sixers, like, and B, you know, as much and B, you went in that press conference and said me and Harden can't do it by ourselves. We need help, and now he leaving. You better convince him to stay. All this is me and Harden. Obviously, it's not you and Harden. I just, you know, I'm like, I don't want to make this a Sixers show, but I'm really frustrated on where the Sixers are at right now. From where I saw them in 2017, Ben's rookie year, his on paper rookie year where he actually played, to where they're at now, I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed in this team, in this franchise. I'm honestly, you literally had 2 number 1 picks. You had 4 lottery picks in 5 years. You had all this. You did not make it out the second round. You signed Tobias Harris to a max deal. You signed Al Horford to a crazy deal.
Let Jimmy go.
You let Jimmy go. You bought some trades. You know, I'm not, me personally, I might be one of the only Sixers fans to say I'm not saying drafting Markelle Fultz was a problem because I don't look at injuries as bust. If he doesn't get injured, the way he was the best player in that draft by far. He don't get hurt, he's doing what Dame is doing. Go back and look at what he was doing in college. He was by far the best player in the draft.
But he couldn't shoot like Dame.
Who?
From distance?
I mean, from 3. I mean, maybe not from deep, but from 3, he shot a good clip.
Yeah, and then y'all just broke him down.
No, I don't want that. I'm saying I'm not calling him a bust. But all the mishaps the Sixers done in the past 6 years, like no team has literally had it. Like I look at the Eagles, and after this, I'm done talking about Philly. The Eagles drafted well, developed well, and look where they're at right now. People are calling the Eagles a Super Bowl favorite before Eagles fans are. We still scared to even believe in a team as much as we should. We just now get into that. It took us a while last year.
Wait 1 minute. I just did some research.
What's up?
Markelle Fultz was in the same draft as Jason Tatum and De'Aaron Fox and Lloyd Marketing and Donovan Mitchell and Bam Adebayo.
Yes, he was.
He was not. Ain't no way you think he was the best player in that draft.
Coming out of college, he was not the coming out of college.
Lonzo Ball went second.
Coming out of again. Let me repeat this. Coming out of college, Markelle Fultz was the best player in that draft.
I'm looking back. This is a deep draft.
He averaged 23, 6 and 6 on 42% from the 3-point line.
I hear you.
He was the best player coming out of college.
OG Anunoby.
Let me repeat myself.
Kuzma.
Not how they panned out in the NBA. Coming out of college.
That is a bust. I don't care what you say.
And I say, me personally, I don't grade guys off of injury. He was injured.
Dylan Brooks went in the second round of this draft. That was a
very good draft. And let me repeat myself.
I heard you. I'm with you. I understand.
I will stand on this. I do not call you a bust off of injury. I call you a bust off how you play.
So if Zion can't stay healthy for the rest of his career, he's
a bust.
But
he's not a bust. Oh yeah, if he keep getting hurt, he's not a bust. I really don't. It's hard for me to look at injuries. That's something you can't control. Unless Zion, maybe it depends if it's the weight issue. But 9 times out of 10, the injury is something like Lonzo right now and his knee problems. I can't hold that against him.
Bust.
He's a bust.
No. No. Listen, he's a bust of what he did and how he was supposed to come in the league and beat his Magic Johnson Steph Curry. I'm not
in the rafters.
Yeah. No. He's a bust. But I'm saying how his career is going right now and how it's about to end. I can't say, oh man, this, that, and the third off his knee problems. Because not saying he was going to live up to that standard. but he was playing really good in Chicago. Not all-star, not how he's a bust. But I'm saying he wasn't you never heard from him again type of bust is what I'm saying.
Maybe he's not
what he lived up to, but he wasn't trash.
Bust.
No, he's not what he lived up to.
He's not Jan Vesely. Jan Vesely was
yeah. He's not one of them type bust. He's one of them. You had a solid NBA career like a Marvin Williams. You have a little better than that solid NBA career.
Michael Kidd Gilchrist.
No, he's a bust.
That ugly shot. Lonzo had an ugly shot too,
but Lonzo, but then now he's a 40%. He was a 40% shooter, shooting like 9 threes a game. So, Wow. What I would, man, Sixers, man, we got, man.
He is frustrated. Free agency ain't even kick in all the way, and this guy frustrated.
Frustrated, man, because it's not like we're a winning franchise, and it's like, you can, hold your hat on. You used to be good. You used to be this. This team used to be always in a mix. That's what they're known for. Ever since we haven't won since the 80s, the team they're almost there. We're the almost there crew.
Okay. Well, we will see. You want to talk about almost there? I said it last episode, and based on what I'm hearing, I'm willing to double down again. I believe the Houston Rockets will be the best team in Texas next year. Said it last year. And
wait, don't they all suck though? I'm not. Don't mean to cut you off.
They are a playoff team. Dallas and San Antonio. Houston will be the best, and they are a playoff team. I said it about Sacramento last year. Houston, y'all are going to be a problem unless they completely strike out. They got $60 million in cap space. $60 million, and they got a bunch of good young talent. They don't know how to play. They don't know how to play.
They got the right coach, though.
They got the right coach, and they need two veterans. I said it last episode. I wish Kenny was here. I said Dylan Brooks would be a good fit there. His tenacity, I thought, would be a good fit.
Yeah.
And now he's rumored at a relatively cheap price. The concern for me is don't overpay for Kuzma and don't overpay for Van Vliet. I think Van Vliet should get Harrison Barnes money. Harrison Barnes has got 3 years, like 50-something million. If you give Van Vliet 30, 40 million a year, you are making a mistake.
He should get a little more than Harrison Barnes now.
I'm talking about the money. I think they overpay for Harrison Barnes. And
yeah, of course. That's how my friend just texted me. He said literally that's how a young team messes up. You overpay for a serviceable guy that you could have got for cheaper because nobody's paying him that much.
So I think as long as they don't botch it, and I think they drafted well. I like both their draft picks. They got Whitmore late.
I know.
What?
I'll let you go, then I'll go. I think
Houston had the best draft.
I don't, and then I'll let y'all. I'll let y'all cook, and I'm gonna say why I don't like it.
I like the twin they got, amen, and I like the Whitmore for what he potentially can offer, especially at that with him basically falling to them. So his rookie deal is going to be cheaper than had you got him in the lottery. Jabari, I think, will improve. He was solid last year. He wasn't Paolo, but he was decent. I think you get Jalen Green to learn from Ime, who I saw bring out the best in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and Marcus Smart. I think if you move 3 of them to the bench, and that's your bench lineup, and you have a decent point guard, whether it's Van Vliet or any of these other guys that can come in on top of a Kuzma or a Dylan Brooks, I think you are well positioned in the West that is wide open. I don't think there's a dominant team outside of Denver, and I think Denver, if not this year, next year, they're going to have decisions to make because this new CBA is going to crush them. We'll see if they can even keep Bruce Brown. We've seen the Lakers making moves to make a run at Bruce Brown, but I think a lot of these teams are going to struggle because of the salary cap. So That's what I had to say, Dev. I'll give it to you, and then Chris, you can rebuttal our Houston draft analysis.
Well, not Kent. Let me say this: not Whitmore, not Whitmore. I'm talking about
No.
strictly the twin. Whitmore, I think, was a very one of the best picks. I'm talking about the twin. But go
Okay.
ahead, Dev.
Nah, I still think Houston had the best draft because they didn't go and just get players like how Orlando normally do
Oh, and I'm
or
going to speak
did
on them
as
too. I'm going to
always.
speak on them
You know what I
too.
mean? They just went out here and just keep drafting guards. No, daggone well, they got like 15 guards on
Don't
their
worry, I'm
roster.
going to speak on them too. 'Cause
But Houston was able to go ahead and even if players don't play this year, like maybe the twin might not play. He might see more G League than he'll see the actual NBA. Really, you never know. Um, but what Houston is pretty much doing that I like is they building that depth and they building that depth young. So if they can go ahead and build it young, you can go ahead and sprinkle some veterans in here and there. That's what Denver kind of did. They even though Denver kind of was a little up in age, older than Houston, but if Houston can start now with their new coach and with these young talented players that they have, and with the talented players they already had already, mesh that together, Houston, like Ray said, can be one of the scariest Texas teams this coming season for real. Honestly, I kind of got to agree with Ray. I think Houston will be the best team out of Texas. I don't believe in Dallas unless Dallas do something dramatically in this free agency, getting a big man and sticking with him. If they don't do that, then I don't know what Dallas is going to do. But if Houston could just find a way just to find some key bets in this free agency, man, they can be a scary young team. I'm not giving them playoff implications yet, but I'm giving them a play-in spot right now. I think they're going to be that ninth seed, fighting their way to get in, and maybe they can come that eighth seed, but. I'm not giving them a nod right now. It's going to be at least a 3-year build. It's not going to just fall into their lap right away because the Western Conference is deep. It's not like the East. Pretty much you just saying who can it really be? We already kind of had the expectations that Denver, Sacramento, maybe a Memphis now with an addition of Marcus Smart that can hold that point guard position down just a little bit until Jai get back. This championship paper team Phoenix, it's like those are the top heavy teams right now, and hopefully the Lakers can be in that mix also. So if once those teams kind of get old or maybe fall apart, like Ray said, like Denver got some decisions to make. Now Houston in that 3-year span can now start rising up like a Sacramento and possibly have a season like Sacramento had this past season. So I think Houston is going in the right direction.
Agreed. Chris, the floor is yours.
now, this is no disrespect to his talent or what he can be. It's all. I'm confused on what Houston is doing and the direction they want to go. Because I don't see you going ESPN and they have him listed as a small forward. I didn't look at him as a small forward coming in. I could be wrong. But when I look at Jalen Green, here's your guy. You found a hidden gem in Sagan, Jabari Smith Jr. You're curious on what he's going to be, but you have a lot of guards on that team. And I love the Whitmore pick. I'm looking at Thompson, the twin is a guard, Jalen Green guard, Josh Christopher guard, Kevin Porter Jr. guard. I think they need to hone in on what the future is going to be for that team and build on it. So me personally, when I looked at that draft, I maybe would have traded that pick. I would have see if I could have traded that pick and bring in a young guy that's somewhat proven. And this is no disrespect to the Thompson twin, but we talk about the vets that needed to bring in. You don't want to waste young talent. So it depends on who they bring in. They bring in the right players, then I'm wrong, 100% wrong. They bring in the right players, then I'm 100% wrong. But if you bring in a whole bunch of guards and where he doesn't have the right time to develop, then I'm going to kind of question the pick. Not as much as I'm looking at Orlando. Orlando to me they had the worst draft, and again, nothing to do with who they drafted. But how do you have 2 lottery picks and 25 guards on your team? And you continue to draft guards. Y'all remember how hype I was? I was so hype Orlando. I said Orlando. Well, Orlando literally could have the best draft because you have 2 lottery picks. You trade them, and you pack in some players, and you can bring in almost whoever you want in NBA. You had all them young guards. You want them Obama. Yo, that's facts. But you had all this young talent and 2 lottery picks. They literally could have brought in almost any single guy they wanted to in the league, and they folded. And again, let me go on Houston thing. It is not no disrespect to the Thompson twin. I just don't know how they want to build a roster moving forward. So let me say, until they build a roster, I'm going to be somewhat confused on the pick. But once they build a roster out, maybe it's going to clear some of my confusion.
So here's my go ahead.
That's all. Because I'm a fan of Kevin Porter Jr. Obviously, he's probably not going to be your guy. So even though I think that backcourt could be very explosive with the right head coach, that's all this depends on, the right head coach. They brought in their guy. He literally kept this backcourt averaging 45 and 10 assists combined. Easily.
So here's what I think. I love competition.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I'm Houston, it's competition now. Because if we go out and get established players, we got a ton of young talent. Which one of y'all is going to put in the work to make sure that y'all get the time y'all want? Last year, y'all had a free-for-all. It was pickup ball. Y'all was out here playing like idiots, taking bad shots, running up and down, playing no defense. And now that time is over. So in my opinion, I think because of the way they could potentially use this free agency, you should get the best out of a lot of them young players because nobody's got paid. So if you want to get paid, you're going to have to earn it. And if you earn it, then maybe we won't pay you. But now I can trade you and go get somebody else. So I think Houston's in almost a win-win, but they do got to get somebody in free agency. Mm-hmm. If they return back with the same team and they swing and miss on all these potential free agents, I think it's tough. I think also you got to factor in we're in an economic situation where that no state income tax could become even a bigger selling point. Like if the options are New York, if I'm Harden and I'm looking at New York and California or Texas, you can save a lot of money going to Texas. And I think that rings true for a number of people. If I'm Paul George, maybe I want to get out of California because Kawhi Leonard, I just seen the picture, Kawhi on the boat celebrating
his birthday, as he should. What are you not supposed to celebrate his birthday?
If I don't see you on the court, I don't want to see you on a boat. You can celebrate your birthday in silence or in peace or on a bench. Like, what are we doing?
He is on the bench.
He don't never talk. On the boat bench. He never talks. He never posts. He try to celebrate his birthday. He's getting credit. I see why he don't talk to the media. He celebrates his birthday, and it's a problem, right?
Because you don't play basketball.
He gonna be
again. Don't act like he doesn't want to, because when he's on a court and what he was going to do in the playoffs. I mean, I would have left San Antonio too if they diagnosed me wrong.
Wait, what?
So you think the thigh was misdiagnosed?
You talking about Kawhi?
Yeah. He didn't have a knee issue. It was a thigh issue.
I'm trolling. All I know is he's a Finals MVP, and he could have got the city the keys to the country over there.
Let's be clear. He did more for Toronto than DeMar DeRozan ever did in 1 year. Those are just the facts.
Yeah, that is a fact. Even though they had one of the talented rosters the year before, and LeBron got them out the way, but listen, it's not Kawhi's fault that his body's giving up on him. Because I look at man, the year the Bucks won, that was the Clippers' year. The year the Bucks won, it was the Bucks versus the Suns. If Kawhi does not go down, They are. Nobody in the West is going to touch
ACL
them.
on a fast break.
Listen, nobody in the West was going to touch them. That's what I'm saying. Like his body's giving up on him.
Yo, Ray is like,
Ray's
yo,
crazy.
he just don't be kidding. Yo.
Listen, he does. Listen, Ray.
It was a fast break. You had the ball in your hand.
His body. That's why his body's giving up on him. But if it doesn't get hurt, they steamrolling through the West and they beat the Bucks in 5, maybe 4. What's up? Checking in.
We
What's
think.
going on? Oh, I know for a fact. There's no you think. Okay. That was that they were steamrolling everybody through the West, and it was gonna get to the Bucks. And what you thought they stood a chance?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'd have money line Clippers every game.
Okay. I don't know. I will say this. Shout out to Anthony, Jay, Frankie, all y'all. I ain't seen my boy tonight. We got a guest.
What's going on, guys?
What's happening, Jay?
Oh man, it's been a while since I see Dev on here too, so I had to join.
Jay, I am so excited for you to join us because we were just about to start talking about Kyrie and his meeting with the Suns. For those of you who don't know, Kyrie Irving has said he is meeting with the Suns first, and he wants to find a team that he can retire with. Jay, I don't know how rich the new owner is, but that would be like 5 max players.
So I'm gonna give you some insight from Gambo.
All right, please do.
So this is straight from Gambo. So the story is Kyrie is looking to change his public image. Kyrie wants to restart. Kyrie wants to rebuild the Kyrie brand. And one of the ways that he feels that he can do that is by going to a team that's surrounded by likable guys, that are surrounded by likable guys in the media, and be able to go ahead, Chris. Who is it?
It's not the Suns. The Suns don't fit likable guys in the media.
Well, if you would say the Suns as a team name, I would agree. But when we break down the actual individual players, we only got 5 players on the roster now. I mean, so when you break it down that way, that makes complete sense. Kyrie's looking for a restart in an image way. In an image way, this all makes sense. Now, here's the second part of what Kyrie would have to sacrifice in order to do that. If he's coming to the Suns, he would have to take a minimum deal for 1 year. And from the way that it looks, he's willing to do that. Now, most people would say right off the bat, they're crazy or he's crazy, but let's take into account, you already lost Nike. You've lost numerous other deals that me and you just probably don't know about just right off the top. So the money part, you've lost plenty of money. So giving up a little bit more money this year in order to restart the image makes sense. Now,
so you think you would take? Are you saying a 1-year deal? Because
I think it would be
a long-term deal for a little bit more.
No, I think it would be a 1-year deal with maybe a team option or something of that nature. So that way it is sort of team friendly. But I think that Kyrie does this on a minimum, gets in. Next thing you know, we got bird rights for him. We can sign him over luxury tax line and go move forward with it.
If he's going to sign a 1-year deal, why wouldn't he go to the Lakers?
Because why would you go to the Lakers if you got fucking Kevin Durant, Beal, Devin Booker, and fucking DeAndre Ayton? What the fuck you going to Lakers for?
Hey now. Come on now, Jay, man.
I'll be honest, though. You named a whole bunch of stars, man. Lakers got a roster, though. Like, that's all I'm going to say.
So, Chris, the only thing about the Lakers roster is right now we don't really know about what that's going to look like. We know that they have their pillars. They got AD. They got LeBron.
And I think it's better basketball over there in LA than did Phoenix.
We don't know.
Darvin Ham was a pretty darn good coach.
The reason why I say that is I got a scorer. I got score. I got
Vogel
score.
was
When
a
was Kyrie
hard
Irving?
coach.
When was Kyrie Irving ever a playmaker? He's one of the,
So
when was Bradley Beal? No, right? When was he ever a real playmaker? When is Devin Booker a real playmaker? They may be playmakers by necessity because they draw so much attention on offense. But if I'm Kyrie and I want to play my game, I go to LA. LeBron's going to take a back seat, and I'm cooking 25 and 6 a night minimum.
I'll be honest. Bradley Beal is a solid playmaker, and I think he's decent, but he's never played with this kind of talent before. He averages like 5 or 6 assists a game quietly. Like he's a good assister of the ball with mediocre talent.
But again,
I disagree with
playmaking by necessity. I'm not saying he can't pass the ball. That's the same thing with like all these two guards.
Russell Westbrook not a playmaker because most of his passing is by necessity too.
But
no. He's different.
No. He will initiate
He passes the basket and drops the ball off to Steven Adams for a bunch of his.
When Westbrook makes a pass, there's a assist on the other side. When Bill makes a pass, is within the offense or off of a double or off of a triple.
Pick and roll.
Right. And I think that's what Chris is trying to.
That's what I'm saying. Like one is a guy that's really running the team as far as he's the playmaker. He's getting everybody involved. Bradley Beal, listen, I love Bradley Beal. This is no slight or shot to any. This is how like all two guards. You're a shooting guard. You're out there to score the ball. Yes, you might one game you might have 5, 6 assists. Another game you might have 2. Why? Because you're out there to score. So when you're in pick and roll and then it's the way they're playing, you can drop it off to your big, you're going to do that. Or you got an open guy in the corner, you're going to pass to him. You're on a fast break, you drop it off for a layup, you're going to do that. But you're out there to score. That's why I'm not calling these guys real playmakers.
Then the same thing with Devin Booker. Bro, if you watch the Phoenix Suns, when Devin Booker has to run our fucking offense, it's dead. Even though we're scoring, even though we might score.
Tough shot.
Right, we might keep up with them back to back for 12 possessions. Right, and it's a crazy flip over his head. He's falling and the ball goes in. It's not, hey, set up. Okay, he over here. No, clear out. You come up. No, he ain't doing that. So I 100% agree with Chris on that standpoint. Booker, Bill, no. Kevin Durant's a better playmaker than anybody we've talked about so far. So yeah, no.
Not in the playoffs.
You talking about this past playoffs?
I mean, but what I say, but again, when I look at y'all, I don't want.
Matter of fact, outside of Golden State, he hasn't been a great playmaker in any playoffs.
I disagree with that.
Well, I said like, last playoffs, him and Booker, they was both flirting with triple doubles, but when I look at that, Jay, I don't want to take away from my guys. That's why I don't know if Kyrie Irving there makes so like 2K. Oh yeah, I'm running it up. Don't say you won't play for no money. I'm running it up. But as far as fit wise, I got to sit down and really think about it. You got 4 guys, really 5 guys that need the ball to be successful. I don't want to take away from any of them.
I don't think Kevin needs the ball anymore. He's Kevin Durant.
He's Kevin Durant.
Yes, he has to have Durant. He has to have the ball. He don't need it. He don't need the ball no more.
He's still Kevin Durant. Like look. I saw in the playoffs. I'm gonna come down and I'm gonna take. Yes, he is. I'm gonna take 6 to 7 shots straight because at the end of the day, I'm Kevin Durant, and if I miss, it's because I missed, not because of the defense.
No,
he's still Kevin Durant.
Do you have any injury concerns?
No. Not on this team, not with this type of firepower. See, the only thing that I'm riding on this, guys, is if we can get guys like TJ Warren, Da Vinci, Torrey Craig, just role playing guys that are. I'm just naming those names. Hold on.
I mean, I think.
I'm just naming those names and style of players.
I understand the style, but I look at guys in your tax bracket, but it's like I think Terrence Ross. It's perfect if he gets
Terrence Ross coming back. He's coming back. We're gonna have to keep. So the guys that we already had in our squad, most likely, TJ, Terrence Ross, Torrey Craig, Josh Landale. I think we're gonna keep Bismack as well. We're gonna keep those guys because we have to. Name who did I name as a bum? First of all,
Bismack's a bum.
You crazy?
He's a bum.
You're crazy.
That's Bismack why y'all have bum Ayton because Bismack is trash.
Bismack Biyombo off the bench is a great role player. His block per 36-minute rating, his rebound per 36-minute rating, his win or loss percentage on defense is high, bro.
Oh, I
High.
forgot this dude was still in the league. Oh my goodness.
Right.
No, not Biombo, not Biombo. I'm looking at Anthony Lamb. I was
Now,
looking
Ray.
at free agents and the small
The
forward.
Golden
your-
State player, he's solid.
No, not that Lamb. You ain't talking about Lamb from Golden State, right?
I'm
No,
talking
No,
about,
that's the young dude.
no, I'm talking about an old guy, Anthony
Jeremy
Lamb.
Lamb. They went to UConn.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm. I don't. I
Oh,
just saw
Jeremy?
Lamb. I just saw Lamb.
He's in the league.
Maybe I might have the wrong Lamb, but going back to this, y'all need role players. And I'm looking
Yes.
at y'all tax bracket,
But y'all
You
can't
know.
afford no good role players.
vet minimums. You know,
What are good role players to you though? Like,
listen, you might have
I
to
think
sign
this
a Justin
free agency
Winslow on a vet
is-
minimum.
but Justin Winslow's not bad to come off the bench for this type of squad.
You know, y'all might need a Trey Lot. Nah, Trey Lot is going to get some money. I ain't gonna lie to you. Trey Lott.
That's my only issue. I think you guys.
Jermichael Green, if you can get him on a vet minimum.
I just don't think a lot of these players you're naming.
Jarrett.
Green played good for Golden State last year. I don't think these guys are signing up to take the minimums.
Well, when I
So-
look at, I look
gotta
at
look at
age
people
when I
that's
look at
coming
that
on.
as well.
Like big injuries, like John Wall, he could potentially play for the minimum because he's in a prove-it year. A lot of the guys you're mentioning, the reason you're mentioning them is because they played good last year. They're not
No.
looking to take the
No,
minimum deal.
I didn't even hear
No.
Winslow's name last year, to be honest
No,
with you.
yeah.
Not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, but Terrence Ross wasn't playing good last year. Fucking
I
TJ
didn't hear
Warren wasn't
Sarge
playing good
name.
last year.
I just said they're bums, and you said, and who did I name? And now you're saying they didn't play good. So which one is it?
No, they weren't. No, when you say, hold on, see, because you be playing devil advocate. When you say play good, when you say play good, I didn't heard that Chris Paul's a bum and people
Yeah.
that are actually playing well are bums. So I got to make
Chris
sure
Paul
we
was a
get
bum
our
last
we
year.
get our levels in with you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Y'all think Chris
No.
Paul was good last year?
Chris Paul played fucking well for 3/4 of the season.
I just didn't like the Phoenix offense, so
I don't-
I'm not gonna say too much. They dribble the
I
clock
don't like
out
Chris Paul
way
as a
too
player
much for
anymore.
me.
Yeah, he. I don't like what. Now that I really sit back and look at him, I don't like what he's not a winning point guard on the team.
Sounded like a
anymore.
whole bunch of personal stuff to me.
No. I mean, I'm saying. I mean, look. When you
I'm a
dribble the
fan-
ball,
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of CP3.
But now when I
hate
look
that.
at him, when you surround him with
I know
talent,
you do.
he takes away from talent. When he had a guy like Blake Griffin, all right, I need to get you the ball. When you got like a Devin Booker, bro, you're dribbling too much. Pass the
I
ball,
will say that.
get out my way.
I will say I will agree with you. His playing style has changed because he's gotten older. He has certain styles that he's going to play with and be successful with. At this age, Chris Paul can't run up and down the court with a De'Aaron Fox, with a Devin Booker, with people that want to move the ball, like really move up and down the court. Chris is not that guy no more. It's kind of like the last year that we had Steve Nash in the Suns. He was not able to keep up. Even though Steve Nash was still a fucking great point guard. We still loved him. We still wanted him on a basketball court. He just was not able to keep up.
At least y'all didn't get the Lakers version because that guy was real good.
I mean,
That
Oh my
dude,
Goodness.
they took his back out and put Dwight Howard's back in Steve Nash's.
I mean, if you think about it, Steve. I mean, he didn't get.
Did he even play that season
He
with us?
didn't
man?
get popping until he was like 33 years old. That's why, like, you know, he started to break down. He's like, oh man, when
He
did
played
he win
more
his
soccer than
MVP?
basketball that year.
He was in Dallas eating up. He was in
When I-
Phoenix
when I
eating
mean-
it up, then
well,
Dallas, then
well,
Phoenix
when-
again.
But when was he known as the top? When he's one of the ones. It wasn't in
He
Dallas.
was MVP.
It was in Phoenix, yeah. But it was in Phoenix. It was the
He
year that
he
Tom
outbeat my
Donaghy.
man Kobe. One of them years that Kobe should have won it.
I mean,
So,
Steve, man.
But
Shout
that
out to
I don't know,
D'Antoni.
bro.
Shout out to D'Antoni.
Let me be clear. I be crushing
Look at
Phoenix.
D'Antoni.
I like Stoudemire and Channing Frye and Steve Nash and those guys. I did.
Don't give me no cop out line right now. You don't
I'm
like
just-
Phoenix. We
I
gonna
am
stay
an
with that.
honest person.
I ain't like it.
I did. I loved it. Yeah, as a young boy watching Amari dunk on everybody.
I hated Steve Nash.
Sean Marion.
But Ray, let me ask you
Matrix.
this. Let me ask you this, Ray, because I feel like we had a similar style of team last year. Because if you think about it, we were playing the high pick and roll. Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, Chris Paul, Mari Stoudemire. Then we had a little bit difference on the scoring side because Sean Marion was playing the wing, so we didn't have the same ball control as Devin Booker gave, but we had that third piece. Now, to me, the only difference, and I hate to say it, DeAndre Ayton is not as fucking aggressive as Amari Stoudemire, and then Steve Nash was a better shooter than Chris Paul. So those two things right there is really what kept that elevation.
And
Jay,
here's another difference. Steve Nash when they dribble 1,000 times.
But
he didn't dribble 1,000 times. He was gonna finish around the rim.
Yeah, he was good in the paint. He could shoot from distance. He was a good passer.
So Steve Nash better than Chris Paul. We here now. We here now.
Career total.
Listen, we here now.
For careers?
Who you taking, Steve Nash or Chris Paul?
No, I'm not talking about career.
I'm taking
accolades.
CP.
Yeah.
I'm Nash, are y'all for real?
I'm dead serious. I was never a Nash fan. I never liked your game.
I'm with you. I'm taking Chris Paul too, but I'm taking
I had what Steve Nash did with Amari Stoudemire, not what Chris Paul did with David West. I'm taking Steve Nash all the time.
If you give Chris
Paul played defense, Chris Paul led the NBA in steals.
Chris Paul,
Steve Nash never did that.
He led the league in steals. Y'all say he's a terrible defender, so don't use that.
No, you say he's a terrible.
You said he was a terrible defender. Don't try
to. Steph's a good defender, and I said he led the league in steals. And y'all tell me how bad of a defender Steph is.
No. That's Chris and Kenny. Don't. I told you about that wild word. Don't put in that y'all.
We're talking about on-ball defense. No more steals. On-ball defense.
No. Listen what he's about to say. Listen what Chris is about to say.
I saw Steph drop him. I remember Darren Williams used to cook that CP3. What you talking about?
He
cooked CP3 in the Clippers, but not with no Hornets.
Not with the Hornets.
Y'all forget what D. Will was doing in Utah. Y'all better.
Did you just bring up Darren Williams? You doing too much now.
Man,
listen.
Darren Williams is like a Donovan Mitchell.
Darren Williams was one of the best top 3-point guards in his time when he was on his run.
Wasn't top three. Wasn't top 3. Bucko,
he was top 3. Him that.
I don't know about the top.
Isn't that what Chauncey Billups? Isn't that what Chauncey Billups and Allen Iverson? What?
NBA champion.
Amir Nelson was still on the court busting people's ass.
Wasn't Steve Nash still out there?
Yes.
I said Steve Nash.
What wasn't Gilbert?
Wasn't Jason Kidd still out there?
No,
Gilbert giving you 29.
Better than Jason Kidd at that point.
All right. We got what?
At that point?
Who?
In what? In 05?
Darren Williams?
In 08?
Better than who?
When did Darren Williams ever lead his team to a championship?
Which one of those point guards did?
Jason Kidd did. He took the Nets to the finals.
Back to back.
Did they win?
That's the only dude you said he's better than.
Back to back.
Did Darren Williams get there?
Darren Williams didn't have as good of a supporting cast. He had Carlos Boozer.
Come on, he had AK-47. He had Carlos Boozer.
He had Brewer.
No, you're not going to sit here and do this.
Brewer.
And they led the West a couple times.
He didn't show up in the playoffs, but y'all is not going to disrespect Darren Williams.
I'm not saying Darren Williams was close, but I put it like this. I would choose Baron Davis over Darren Williams.
Yes.
All day. Without no hesitation.
No hesitation.
Baron Davis, we can go on and on.
Dude,
I would have took Carlos Arroyo for that first 2 years.
No, I wouldn't. I ain't going that far. I ain't going that far.
I'm not going that far.
And you know what we say in Baltimore? Bus driver, back door. Let me off this stop right here.
Hey, I'm trolling a little bit because Darren was nice, but he ain't top 3.
Top 10? I'll give you top 10.
Maybe
top
10.
He was top 3 to me.
So who's your top 3 then?
I would say.
Ooh.
Y'all gonna make
you gotta think hard.
You only got 2 left.
I would go Nash, Williams, and
This is gonna be rough.
And Paul.
Chris Paul.
I'm taking him over Gilbert Arenas back then. And
First of all, I'm
upset.
You have roasted Chris Paul for 2 straight seasons.
Then
you put him. Wait. Then you put him in your top 3 for that, and you skip over Allen, Gilbert, Chauncey, Barron. Iverson.
He wasn't a point guard. Eric Snow was a point guard.
I'm
we
with you
better
on
do
that
this?
one. I'm with you on
Hold
that
on.
one, Ray.
Hold on.
Eric Snow was the point guard.
Aaron McKee, and Eric Snow was the point guards.
And Brian Shaw.
If that's no. If this is the case, LeBron's point guard. So
No, that's
LeBron's
the case. Then Draymond's the point guard. Then
let's roll with it. Then
but you got to keep it real. AI was a 2 guard. Y'all know that.
Let me ask you guys a question. What's the difference between AI and Steph?
A ton.
Slashing.
No. I want you to be real. What is the difference between AI and Steph?
Because what my man trying to say is Steph a 2 guard. Then that's what.
Did you watch the playoffs this past year?
He not.
No, the only difference is one player plays on the perimeter and the other player plays inside. That's the only difference between AI and Steph. Huh?
Nah,
I ain't gonna lie. Look, 04, 05, 06, 07. My man's he's listed as a point guard, and that's the time Darren Williams popping. So how you gonna take him? How you gonna take him over Darren?
Okay,
that's all I was gonna say.
We're considering AI a point guard at that point.
When we went to Denver.
What in 04? Correct me. What team was AI playing on in 04, 05, and 06? Because I know in 01
Denver. Or was he still in Sixers?
He's still with Philly.
He's still 05.
And
when you go to Denver, 08, 07?
Yeah, he ain't coming to Denver until like 08, 09.
Okay. If that's the case,
when Andre Iguodala came up, when Andre was about to come in, he was playing. Allen was playing straight point.
Iggy came in, Iggy came in like 06,
04, 05.
Yeah, somewhere around that range.
And by that time, Allen was full-time point guard.
Averaging 7 and 8 assists.
Well, he had no choice because Larry Brown was out the door, Eric Snow was out the door, Aaron McKee was out the door.
33 and 8. Oh my
and they had
God.
the Dikembe Mutombo down there like, hey, we gonna handle this shit.
He had no choice.
But the fact that you picking Darren Williams over Gilbert, the 3 years Gilbert was it's crazy.
I need to look at the numbers. I don't think
Agent Zero, bro.
I'll read you the numbers, brother. Because
Agent Zero.
Let me see the years. And Lex, listen, I love Tabachi, but he ain't win us nothing. And he was hurt.
I just don't understand though, man. You hate the guys that you dislike, and you want to talk about Darren Williams in the top 3?
Who do I dislike besides
Darren Williams? Darren Williams is what you call a system point guard. When it was time for him.
Okay, I don't disagree with that, but I think John Stockton was that. I think Magic was that. I think there's a lot of players that was
I'm calling his Utah years really his prime because in the
Nets, for that matter, Jordan was a system point or shooting guard.
So Darren Williams, I'm gonna say from 07, 08 to 10, 11.
Right. So he went to years. He was not like that in 07, 08.
Who Gilbert? Who AI? AI was all-star in the same conference, brother. In the same conference, he was an all-star. Who are we talking about? In the same conference.
I said what I said. And
I'm just looking at Gilbert 25,
I looked at
29,
Kenyon Martin and Carmelo was cooking.
So we
look. I think we didn't got off.
Kenyon Martin was better than Carlos Boozer.
Shit. I don't even want to get on that one.
No,
I don't even want to get.
Y'all got Boozer over Kmart.
That's a rough.
Listen, all I'm saying is when I look at the West,
it used to be loaded.
I think they're in the same. I think they're in the same platform to me.
They will and Mike Bibby was cooking.
All right, wait, Ray. Let me get some elaboration on that. Why do you feel that way? Because I'm right there with you.
About which take?
About Boozer and Martin.
Well, for starters, Boozer's hair was fake. But after,
I'm sorry.
After that, I just think Kenyon Martin.
Hey, real quick, you can't plug that and just move away from it. That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen on national TV.
That was bad. That was
one of the funniest things.
I've seen that like that.
For those of you out there that don't know what we're referencing, when Carlos Boozer's hair left his face on his face.
That was and then he put the beard too. Like he was too much.
My man had that black magic. Voila, magic.
That was before LeBron did it.
But, wait. I think Kmart was a better defender. He was more athletic. Boozer was a better shooter. mid range. Neither one could really shoot from three, and I just like them better. But
Carlos Boozer had a shot.
I think Boozer played D.
Yep.
He played
Better
D,
than Kmart?
especially in Chicago.
I think Kmart was a better perimeter defender. I think you wasn't getting shit down low with Boozer.
I think Boozer was a better post player. I'll give you that.
The Jazz was a 50-win-plus team for like 4 years and was trash. My fault.
My point exactly. I said that in the beginning of this.
Listen, everybody's not built for playoffs. Okay, I admit that.
Hey,
They had an okay team. They had AK-47. They had Carlos
Boozer. One
Boozer.
seed one time.
Doesn't matter.
The Jazz
Doesn't matter.
were-
They got put out by the Lakers. That wasn't a 1 seed though, right?
Yep.
I'm saying Baron Davis, they did a great job. They beat the Mavs.
I'm looking at 07-08, 54-28. I'm looking at D Will averaging, 18 and 10. Bulls are averaging 21 and 10. You got Okoro. I remember Okoro.
Kmart ever averaged that high.
I remember Okoro. Yeah, Okoro was a shooter, sniper, 3-pointer, bow.
Sniper's a bit aggressive. That might be a little too much.
Back in the day, you showing 4 threes, you're known as a shooter. Just saying. Back in 07-08, you shooting 4 threes, you something different.
He wasn't a top 10 big. I had Ogauskas.
You got Andre Karolinko, you got Ronnie Brewer,
was a hooper.
you got Kyle Korver on the team, you got Paul Millsap. Hold on, they got Paul Millsap.
I
forgot about Millsap.
Nah, I mean you got young Millsap too. This with the light blue jerseys. I forgot Millsap was back then on that team.
And this is what I was saying. They had a talented team.
You got CJ Miles too.
That was when CJ was killing folks. What?
That was that left hand fan in the corner.
Just a shooter and a decent.
He was a 3-and-D guy.
I'm
CJ
not
Miles, he
gonna
can take you off the dribble.
The Jazz, they suck because their best guy couldn't take them over the hump. So
their best guy was Darren Williams.
No. That best guy was Carlos Boozer. We just established Carlos Boozer averaged 20.
Listen,
if we're gonna be real about it, was AK. That was their best guy. AK did everything on the court.
Darren Williams wasn't top 3, he was top 10. Top 10, I'm giving you.
I don't even know if I can give him top 10, bro.
Nah, you
I can give him top 10. I can give him top 10, Jay. Come on.
Break down. Hold up, bro. I'm going. You guys got me. I'm about to pull up.
Yeah, you got to pull up his. Come on now, Jay. We got to at least give him top 10.
Especially that back end of the 2000s.
What year are we talking? 06?
We're talking from 05 to 010.
I'm gonna do 08.
Y'all gotta remember
player.
In that system, his numbers are probably not gonna compare to somebody that was on the team by themselves.
I don't want to hear no system stuff right now.
No, I don't either, because he was a system player for one, and for two, that's when you take account assists. He averaged 10 assists, average 18 and 10.
Yeah, guys, I don't know if I could put him in the top 10.
That's what I'm saying. I still got a Rondo. You still got CP. You still got Steve Nash.
We had. These are the point guards I'm looking at.
We had
Manu we had Tony Parker running around. We had Jamal Tinsley running around still.
He said Jamal who?
He said Jamal Tinsley.
I'm naming the point guards who were still running around.
All right, wait. Listen, wait. All right, real quick.
Mike Bibby was still there.
07-08.
Bibby was not better.
Talking. I'm looking at points per game. Points per game. All right. The leader was Baron Davis at the point guard position, averaging 22. You had Chris Paul 21. I'm not counting Gilbert. He played 13 games. You got Darren Williams averaging 19. Mo Williams averaging 17.
He was killing it back then too.
Andre Miller averaging 7. Oh,
he was killing it back then.
Slow-mo was averaging 17.
You got Chauncey averaging 17. Man. You got Nash averaging 17. I ain't gonna lie, he top 10.
Jose Calderon was getting there.
You tripping. He top 10. He's top 10.
Look, I'm gonna name 10 right now.
Top 10.
Chris Paul, Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, Jose, Barron.
No. You in this daggone Jose,
then, y'all?
No.
You in this Jose Cuervo. You must have had
Jose Cuervo is good, but you're not about to say
07-08, he finished 5th in assists. That was the year Toronto and him was killing, bro.
He wasn't
I'm
better
telling
than
you.
D. Will.
He
and
I'm
finished-
pretty
he-
sure they got put up by LeBron, but keep
He
going.
finished fifth, and Derrick Williams finished third.
Hold on. I'm not saying that these guys are ahead of Darren. I'm saying I'm gonna name 10
Nah,
guys.
No,
I'm
no,
gonna
no,
leave Darren out on purpose.
But what we saying is all the like after 4 to 5 guys, it's a big drop off. So he's top 10.
Nah, man. Rondo.
At
You
best,
had Tony
I'll
Parker.
drop him to
You
top
had.
5. I'll drop
He's
him.
not top 5.
No,
He
I'm
was
sticking
top
with
5 in
10.
that window of his career. Yes, he was. He was leading the
I
team
ain't
to
gonna
the
lie. I ain't gonna lie.
in the West when it was
I'm taking
loaded.
Rondo over him. I'm taking
Taking Rondo, I'm taking Brian Davis,
CP,
taking CP.
Steve Nash.
Steve Nash, and J.
I'm
Kidd.
Jason
not.
Kidd.
I'm not.
Teams did
Jason
better than all
Kidd.
those
Well,
teams.
definitely Jason Kidd. I'm
You said
taking
hold.
Jason Kidd.
You said what, Ray?
His team was better than almost all them teams.
Hey, and we ain't gonna act like Jameer Nelson wasn't killing back then.
All right, we
is
got to move
not
on. I'm
gonna
not
act like
comparing
Jameer
Jameer
wasn't
Nelson to
man.
Darren Williams. Now we
listen.
disrespecting Darren Williams comparing Jameer
That's all
Nelson.
I'm
He was
saying.
killing back then.
We can argue top 10, but I think he's top 5. But you naming guys.
Yeah, Jay just. I think
Ray
Jay's trolling. Jay's trolling. Jay's trolling.
better than
I don't
D.
like Darren
he
Williams.
gonna say Jay Will from Miami was a better
I don't
point
like
guard.
He's highest ever.
I ain't gonna lie. He was a bucket.
Ooh,
You know what I'm saying?
he was a problem.
The problem. But I'm done trolling.
In
I'm done trolling.
Sacramento, he was.
I'm done trolling.
All right. So
Gary-
we
I'm
started
giving Darren Williams. I'm giving Darren Williams top 10, top 5.
Yeah,
Not so. He might be 6 or 7.
from 05 to 010. From 05 to 010, man, that's like you. Yeah.
I think
What you got next for us, Ray? What you got next for us, Ray?
So we talked about Kyrie going to Phoenix, which I think we all agree is maybe not the best fit. So if that's not the fit and he wants to retire at his next team, where the heck should he go?
That's rough, bro. And I think that goes back to what Gambo was talking about the re-image, because to go to Dev's point, going to LA.
Just for a second. Now that we've seen how Nike in the league has handled Ja Morant, do you still think people view Kyrie the same way?
Yeah, because Ja Morant, at the end of the day, it was a totally different situation.
People's views are skewed, and like he said. And like he said, the Ja Morant situation was different. You saw how
people still think Kyrie is what? A bad teammate.
They don't know. They don't honestly.
That's all I'm keep hearing.
My opinion of Kyrie is going to be different from everybody else's, because everybody else's opinion on Kyrie is what they hear somebody saying. When you don't pay attention to him, how he plays, you don't pay attention to the team he's on. You just wait for that one bad thing. I knew he was that. He's a bad teammate. He's a cancer in the locker room. He's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. And the reason why it's hard for me to believe anything is because when you talk bad about somebody so much, it's like, so you mean to tell me he's done no good ever in the league?
Right.
Now I can't believe nothing.
He's done a ton of good.
But they don't report it, and they don't report the good he's done in the league too. So now you got to ask yourself, can I believe anything they're saying? So the way I feel about Kyrie, might be different from everybody else. Where I think he should go, to Jay's point, I wouldn't be mad if he wants to go somewhere that's going to, have his, his name, image, and likeness basically viewed in a different way. For me, I think it's one way. I think it's one place you go. But that's me.
Where is it?
He going with y'all, man. Dave, he going. Him and LeBron going. Yo, he going to LA, baby. The Lakers. That's why I want him to go.
So I'm gonna be. So this is
I
where
want
I was
him to stay with Dallas. Let me get it out of the way. I would love for him to stay with Dallas. I would love for him to stay with Dallas. But if he leaves, but if he leaves, ain't go. Here's what. Man, there's no way. You go LeBron. Let's run this back, and we got AD now. Oh yeah, Austin Reeves and Hachimura. I don't got to play no defense. Oh yeah.
See,
play defense.
So, but here's my thing with that on the re-imagery thing. Two things about that. Okay, yeah, you get the whole Batman and Robin rekindle. You get the whole severed relationship. Oh, we make amends. You get that part. But LA is not forgiving. LA is one of the worst fan bases to suck in. We saw what the fuck happened with Russell Westbrook. We saw what a slump will do. The Dodgers, bro, you can't play in the you can't be on the Dodgers and have a fucking slump and be making a bag. They're gonna run you out of LA. It don't matter what sport, it don't matter what team you're on. If you're in LA and you're supposed to be and they're counting on you to do something, you better do it. That's like going to New York. That's like going to Boston. So again, in Philly, y'all's like that, but you guys have like a buffer before you just unleash on somebody. So so it's like there's levels to it. So to me, on a re-imagery, I don't think LA's right. I think Braun and Kyrie, that would work on a re-imagery level, but not in LA.
Philly.
This and it's like him going back to Boston. But I honestly, like, to your point too, Chris, I think that a lot of people's gripe with Kyrie is fictitious. They don't even know what their gripe with Kyrie really is, because a lot of the gripe from Kyrie was developed during the headlines of COVID. A lot of the gripe from Kyrie was developed on flatland views. A lot of the gripe from Kyrie was developed on bullshit that never had any weight anyways. Why the fuck were you asking him these questions in the fucking first place? So at the end of the day, I don't believe people really have a gripe with Kyrie as it is. That's why I think him going to a city, and I know this is going to sound outlandish, if he went to somebody like Sacramento, they don't have shit. They don't have nothing. If he brought them,
he'll mess that up though.
He'll mess the team up. It's not about the team at this point.
You talking about location, right? You talking about if he goes somewhere that's not a big market.
Quiet.
It's a big market, and it's not going to be. Their fans aren't going to attack him because they just want anything successful. He can be the key to the city in a few places. He can get the key to the city in a few places.
New Orleans.
No, that's a good one. There's another team that they had Zion. They had all this hope. It got crashed. They had CP3 and AD. They had all this hope. It got crashed. They brought on DeMarcus Cousins. They had hope again. It got crashed. If Kyrie was to come in there and take them to the finals, take them to a conference championship, you don't even got to win, bro. He'll get the key to the city. So it's those type of places that I would look at if I was Kyrie.
I was trolling. I ain't gonna lie. You know, him and CJ McCollum, kind of the same player.
Yeah,
that's the upgrade. But we I see.
You don't want to get back to a Dame and CJ situation.
Yeah, I see
that. And then I think if you do that, you're taking Brandon Ingram out of the equation also, because he's also one of the guys that can play ISO ball too. And I feel like New Orleans is going the way of Brandon Ingram being the first option, and then everybody else is second or third, whether it's CJ McCollum, whether it's going to be Zion if he can never come back. So
that's an issue,
right?
I think it should go Brandon, because Brandon Ingram, Zion, then CJ. I think that's how it should be.
I think you get rid of Zion. If I'm New Orleans,
Zion got to earn to be second. It should go Brandon, CJ, then I'm getting Zion if possible.
Because Zion's going to get his so easily. That's why So
Chris McCollum can get his so easy.
Yeah, that's why. Okay, I can see you put him third because you really don't got to do much for him. But when Zion, I don't want to harp on the Pelicans and what they can be. But when everybody was healthy, this is the top team in the West. This was the top team in the West.
But at the same time,
I don't think it was a fluke neither.
No, I don't think so at all, bro. And I think they got better after they were top team before they got CJ. I think they got better after they got CJ, but fucking Zion screwed them. So I think now, dude, you get rid of Zion, you get and just move on. Just fuck it, move the hell on.
It's too late.
Get rid of Zion.
You should have traded him in the draft if you was going to trade him.
No, I don't think so. That's a fluke nowadays. This ain't the NFL. This is NBA. Trading in the draft ain't always the best.
It's rare. We don't even see. To Jay's point, we haven't seen a big name guy get traded in the draft in a while. I think it should go down. Again, I still think the Magic had the worst draft. And this might go down to one of the worst drafts I've ever seen.
It was pretty bad. Like they stockpiled. So here's what I got two spots.
They did this a couple times.
Under the J premise of rebuild brand. If I'm looking to rebuild brand,
don't say Washington.
No, I'm not.
And don't say Orlando.
That's Jordan Poole. That's Jordan Poole rebrand area right there.
I mean, Jay, Orlando works if they trade on them guards. I'm just saying.
I suggest if I'm Dallas and I want value, I'm sending him to Minnesota and give me Karl Anthony Towns, and I'm gonna let him, Anthony Edwards, and Rudy Gobert figure it out. I think that's a small market.
You know the biggest thing that Kyrie needs.
I like that trade though. I like that trade for Luka.
The biggest thing Kyrie needs is an outspoken owner that's able to take the heat from him. I think that's the one thing about Dallas that is special is that Mark Cuban at the end of the day is going to take some heat from his players at the end of the day. And
how many owners are like that though? There's
not a lot. There's not a lot. And but that goes down to what I was saying earlier, Chris. It's going to be a happy balance. Orlando has absolutely nothing. There's nothing positive going on in Orlando.
They're not going to win. That's not true. They got power. Paolo is
a GM. If Brad Stevens was to go there for 2 months for the offseason, they would be a top. I'm telling you right now,
1,000%.
They'd be a top 4 seed in the East
because they're right now.
Them guards, whoa.
Their organization is back.
Whoa, they haven't been good. And I said that they haven't been good since Dwight Howard. I don't care. The bubble. They haven't been good since Dwight Howard.
They haven't been able to capitalize on anything, bro.
You should go to San Antonio.
What?
San Antonio is a much better version.
But no, Jay, that means everything that almost outside of maybe winning, that means everything that you said. A small market team and to help himself rebrand and a good culture. It's everything right there in San Antonio.
You're
with
right.
A great coach.
All right, I got
outside of winning, you're not going to be the most competitive team, but that meets everything that you've said.
So I pose a question to you two, to you three. How much does winning help, or how important is winning in a rebrand like this? This is in an image rebrand.
Everything. I think it matters.
He already has a ring. We know that Kyrie can perform on the highest level. I don't think that changes his brand. I think his brand is, can he be a good teammate? Can he be available for his team? And can he be a leader in the locker room? I don't think anybody questions his ability to how well he can play. And we've seen him perform at the highest level exceptionally. I don't think anybody questions whether he's a championship caliber player.
Well, the reason why I have to disagree is because to meet those things that you said, you got to win. You know,
he was the best
right now
on the team when they got swept.
Right now, he's looked at as a guy that comes in and is a cancer to the locker room. So if you're not winning, he goes to San Antonio and they still a lottery team. They might look at him like, oh, how did he help us improve?
But why is he a cancer? But why is he such a cancer?
I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that, Dev. I
don't believe in that because I'm not understanding.
I don't believe nothing bad they say about Kyrie. I don't believe that. I was just saying that's how he's getting looked at.
You know what? When people say he's a cancer, and you know what I look at it is when things are not understood, you don't want to understand.
Exactly. And
you know what I mean?
And 100%.
And we are all not meant to be understood. You feel me? And I think that people try so hard to understand Kyrie and his lifestyle, and you're not going to. You're not supposed to understand who he is. You know what I mean? Whether he has a different view of life or religion, politics, it doesn't matter. That's what makes debates and people who, you know, different and who they are is because of their different opinions and stuff like that. So it kind of bugs me when I hear people say he's a cancer and stuff like that. It's like we never heard him get into no physical altercations with anybody in any of these locker rooms, but we never called Draymond Green a cancer. We keep saying, oh, that's the heart of a champion. That's your leader, or anything in that nature. We never said he was a cancer.
I will also say to that point, Dev, players don't hate Kyrie.
Right.
I don't hear players upset with Kyrie.
When you went back to Boston, you saw Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown showing mad love. When you went to Cleveland, you saw them show mad love. So I agree with everything you're saying.
As outspoken as he was against LeBron, LeBron is basically
showed a mad love. So I agree with everything you're saying, Dev. But the way you go on Twitter, you go on what they say about, you know, you listen to these shows and what they say after the failure in Dallas. people are blaming Kyrie. I'm not blaming Kyrie.
Mark
I'm
Cuban
not blaming
sabotaged the league.
Kyrie.
That's why they got fined.
Right. you heard what
They
you heard what
fined
Jason
him
Kidd
for
you heard
quitting.
what Jason Kidd said in the interview. I'm just doing my job. He heard from Mark Cuban himself and say, "Hey, we need you to sit all the best players out. Put these other guys in
I mean,
because
but
we trying to tank tank for
you
something."
trying to take net, but when they first traded for Kyrie, they obviously had to figure it out. I thought it was going to work. That's why I honestly think those two guys and defense and shooting around them is still scary. That's why
I agree.
excuse me. That's why I want Dallas to be number 1 and LA number 2. I
still think
I don't
like
think he's
San
a cancer
Antonio
to the locker
Minnesota.
room.
He doesn't need to be next to a small guard.
so. Here's my thing, guys. I hear what you guys are saying, and I hear what you're saying, Ray. Winning isn't everything in
It's
this
important for
particular
him, though.
situation, though. No,
important for him.
I'm going more. It's more than important. It is everything in this situation.
Did
His
Russell
whole.
Westbrook have to win last year to
We're
repair?
not talking about Russell Westbrook. He
But they
doesn't
were
have the
killing
same
Russell
imagery.
Westbrook.
But listen, he
but
doesn't
played-
have the
but
same
he played
imagery.
playoffs well though, so they don't have
But
the
he
same
didn't
imagery.
win.
But-
So
but-
if Kyrie plays well, which we think he will, he does not have to win.
No, bro, it's totally backwards. Listen, Kyrie Irving came out rookie year, won a championship with LeBron. LeBron got rid of him. Now, here's the notion of bad cancer, bullshit, whatever. Ever since then, he hasn't been able to win. He went to Boston. That was a shit show, right? Nothing to do with the person. I feel like he's a ball-dominant player. I knew from the beginning that him and Lucas is not a good fit. We'll get to that in a second. But I think the winning, what happens is if Kyrie goes to a team right away, keeps his mouth shut, model citizen, and they're winning, you forget about everything. The NBA, the players, the media, now that's something for them to make money off of. It gets rid of all the flack because you don't want to be the only media outlet still bashing the guy that's out here whooping people and going out and doing clothes drives and connecting with the community. You don't want to be the only media outlet bashing that. So losing is easy because other media outlets will be bashing the losing of the team. So it makes it easy for you to go ahead and attack Kyrie. So winning is going to be everything in the rebuild of his imagery. If he goes to any team that we said, if they're winning at all and he goes over there and starts losing, it's over. It's over. If he goes to LA and they don't make the playoffs, over. If he comes to Phoenix and we don't make the play, it don't matter what happens. KD can come out and break his knee first game. If we don't make the playoffs and Kyrie's on the roster, his image is over.
And I think that's poor reporting and lazy reporting because
I agree.
I don't disagree. That very well, he is an easy scapegoat. I think he's an easy.
I agree.
target. And he, for what it's worth, has positioned himself to be that. The leaving, that's the other thing. When LeBron took a break in Miami because his back was hurt, nobody cared. Kyrie took a break. They killed him. He said, my mental health was bad, and everybody else gets a pass for mental health but Kyrie.
And that's why I'm saying what I'm saying, Ray. That's why winning means everything for Kyrie in this situation because of everything you just said. It's messed up, yes, but he is an easy scapegoat. He is easy for them to attack.
I think if he goes somewhere and they win, if he goes to LA and they do win, Kyrie's not going to get the credit.
It doesn't matter about the credit.
LeBron was able to even get Kyrie.
But it's not about the credit here.
But Kyrie.
But it's not about the credit. When we're in a situation, when he's in the situation that he's in, he doesn't need credit for the win. He needs people to forget that he was the bad guy. He needs people to forget when they look at Kyrie Irving, when his name pops up scrolling down the screen, people talk shit immediately. They just comes out like second nature. He needs to get over that part. And if he can get over that part, everything else doesn't matter.
I think you are giving him a whole lot more credit than I think he would get, but I hope you're right. I do hope you're right, but I just don't see it. I think wherever they go, it's going to be the organization was able to control him, or the organization was able to bring the best out of him, and they won in spite of him, or he'll have, because even in Brooklyn, he took him to the playoffs. He was the best player on that team. In
That's the
playoffs,
problem.
Kevin Durant was trash.
But that's the
media
problem.
used him a certain way, and then they said immediately after, we're not going to re-sign Kyrie. And you destroyed your franchise. And I meant to say this earlier. You guys traded Mikal Bridges. Y'all should have traded Chris Paul. If y'all have Mikal Bridges on your team right now and you traded Chris Paul, I think Phoenix is the best team in the West.
I don't think we get Kevin Durant if we're trading Chris Paul. I think the whole point of Kevin Durant coming over here was Chris Paul recruiting him.
Paul was, okay. The recruiting part. Okay.
Yeah. And I agree with you. I would prefer it. I didn't want to move from Cam Johnson. Me and you talked about that all last summer. That was the one person I was like, man, I know McCall's going to have to leave eventually, but I want Cam. He's young. He could shoot. He could score. I want Cam. So I understand. I just don't think it would have ever worked any other way. Okay. I don't think we'll be here right now if it was a chain reaction. We had to have Chris to get KD and, so on and so forth. We had to have Chris to get Bill. So.
Okay. Well, Dev, before we get out of here, I do want to get to your Lakers. They cut Mo Bamba, and they picked up Vanderbilt, and then they cut what was the other guard?
Malik
Beasley. They have extended offers to Rui and Austin Reaves. I haven't seen the terms of that, but based on what they've done so far and the draft or lack thereof, what do you expect out of the Lakers in free agency next year?
I hope the Lakers can build depth. This should be the topic of the show because I think I said at least about 4 times. Like depth is the most important thing, and picking Vanderbilt was a great pickup. Because like I said, he knows his role. He knows where he knows that he's not going to be your top scorer. He's not going to be in the top 4. You know what I mean? But when his number is called, when it's time for him to play defense, scrap buckets, that's the guy that you need. Rui, I really like him because he's very versatile. He also can play defense, and that's what the Lakers is most definitely is going to need because in the beginning of the season, we was terrible on transition defense. Teams was just killing us on fast breaks. Once we did the trades and the trade deadline, things started slowing down for the Lakers. We was able to get in the top 15 in defense and get deep into the playoffs. So if we can just keep that momentum going, and hopefully, I hope Austin Reaves don't cost a lot of money, but I got a feeling that he's going to cost a pretty penny to bring him back.
If Naz Reid got 3 years, $60 million, Austin Reaves is getting more than that.
But hey, we ain't got to be Minnesota either, man. Minnesota, they crazy to spend all that money in that front court and ain't gonna really use it. But anywho,
Harrison Barnes just got 3 years, 50-something million.
Harrison Barnes been getting big bags since.
Yo, his agent needs a raise.
I already say whoever his agent is.
I don't know how he be getting these bags.
Gordon Hayward's agents need raises. Them got way past their expiration dates.
And Gordon Hayward, he ain't had but one leg since like.
But that Mo Bamba, I didn't really. I would have got rid of him, but I would have made sure I had a reliable big man before I got rid of him. Because he's not the best, but he is size, and that's something that we lacking in right now is size. At the AD. So hopefully we can go in there and get a big man in this free agency. Hopefully we can spend some more money after we spend on Austin Reaves if he decides to come back with us. But so far, Rob Pelinka doing an all right job. Hopefully he can bring some more shooting in because that's what the Lakers most definitely need, especially if you're not going to bring Malik Beasley back. He was there for the shooting. So if we can find some way to bring some shooting and some more size, Lakers can make a deep run into the playoffs again.
I agree with you. The one thing that the Lakers to me missed up into the trade deadline was youth on the actual basketball floor. You know what I mean? And I think like you were talking about, Vanderbilt was a hell of a pickup that allowed them to get rid of Malik Beasley and Mo Bamba. They're no longer needed, even though they made that trade to bring in Mo Bamba to help beef up that back. But Vanderbilt playing that 4, he could slide out to the 3. He's very versatile on defense. He can cover 1 through 4 on defense and beef up with some 5s that they're not too overly big. And then moving over to Austin, I think, first of all, the Lakers lucked up. It's not every day you got somebody just chilling in the G League that comes in and becomes a starter and kind of takes over the league like that. So they lucked up with that. I think that Rui was the glue. Vanderbilt was like the extra Allen wrench that you needed at the last end to tighten that last little screw. But Rui was literally that Phillips screwdriver that you use everything for. I think he really changed the aspect of the team because LeBron's getting old. He can't scrap with everybody for 48 minutes. Anthony Davis don't need to be on the floor. Anthony Davis don't need to be diving for balls, don't need to be doing those type of things. So Rui allows them to have somebody that's out there scrapping, a Mark Madsen, a Dennis Rodman, or somebody out there like that, a Draymond, that's out there being able to move around, play defense on different guys, dive, and just really, like we were talking about, that youth. So I think Austin, Rui, and Vanderbilt are going to be huge portions of what you guys' successes looks like next year. We know what to expect from LeBron. We know what to expect from AD. We know what to expect from LeBron and AD together. But again, adding that those young legs that can shoot, penetrate. And the one thing I'll also tell you that really surprised me about those 3 is the IQ at which they play. They are not making dumb, youth-filled mistakes. And Austin Reaves, dude, for the performances he had in the playoffs and to start your freaking season in the G League, hats off, bro. Like, there's nothing you could do but say, God dang, that dude put the fucking work in, and he's here. And he's here to stay. That's what's crazy too, because you already know it. You don't need no extra season. Like, Austin's the truth.
He's got to keep improving his game. Got to keep elevating. He just can't just have that 1 year. I mean, you can't just get this bag and then disappear. You can't be Duncan Robinson. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's the risk. We talked about Chandler Parsons and Gordon Hayward. When you get these kind of guys, they can be them. Tyler Hero, maybe.
But Tyler did his thing. I mean, teams really zoned in on Tyler, and I think Tyler did a great job of adjusting his game to try and.
Is that if that's Austin Reaves' ceiling? Is that what you want?
Oh, Austin Reaves and Tyler Hero to me are nothing alike. I think Tyler Hero is a better shooter all around than Austin Reaves, and he relies more on it. Austin is a great spot up shooter. Austin is able to penetrate the ball better. I think he's a
clutch shooter.
Oh, clutch. His clutch factor is through the roof, bro. I mean, like I said, for you to come from the G League and then play a playoff run the way the fuck you did, bro, your clutch factor's through the roof. You know how to step up in big moments, step up in big games. And then the other thing, though, like I said, his IQ's so good that when he's driving, you're scared if you're the other team. You can't lean off your man. Anthony Davis being out there, that's where Rui and LeBron and those other guys are going to eat next year, as Austin being confident and moving up on that option list in the offense to be able to do that.
All of that says he's about to get a bag.
Oh, he's about to get paid.
He just can't disappear though. Doesn't even matter if he come back to the Lakers. Doesn't matter where he go at. He's still going to have to.
And we'll see once he's outside of LeBron and him. But this ain't the same LeBron that was making the other guys in the past.
Right.
He's a hooper. So no, I think that'll be good for them. I think Dante DiVincenzo would be a good fit in LA.
He's my number one. That's like my wonder one guy right now from my vision. I would love to have Dante on the bench for us.
Yeah,
If we don't get Dante, I would like a Bruce Brown also, especially if he can play the same way he did in Denver.
Man, Bruce Brown is a weird one to me. Bruce Brown reminds me of like Raja Bell or somebody just
that's a good
just
name.
Just rough defender. He's not crazy athletic. He's not the best shooter, but he can shoot.
He can get hot.
He can get hot.
He know his role.
He can finish at the rim. He can attack the basket. Yeah.
But the thing about the Bruce Brown thing,
but he's good at quite a few things.
But the thing about the Bruce Brown thing is, do we already have that with Vanderbilt?
No, because Bruce is different. I think Bruce does more of what Rui does in the sense of he's just that ball of energy that hustles, that's able to do a little bit of everything on the floor. I think he reminds me of like Dylan Brooks, Draymond Green, Rui, those type of guys where it's not like you're about to give him the ball and he's about to go eat him up. He's not. He's going to get the ball off a tip and be there at the right spot and hit that jumper. Or the ball gets passed around 3 times and then he's end up wide open in the corner waving his hand around. Like, that's Bruce.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think Vanderbilt he's more capable than Bruce on both ends of the floor.
Absolutely. Well, fellas, it's been a blast. I can't wait. By Monday show, I might either have a lot to talk about or I ain't got nothing to talk about. Hopefully the Suns don't do anything too good because I don't feel like hearing that. Lakers, y'all, all eyes are watching. But yeah, by Monday it should be a great time. Jay, appreciate you jumping on. Appreciate everybody in the comments.
Real quick before we go, I want to say something before I leave. If you guys have not, please go ahead and hit the page. We did do an exclusive interview with Ice Cube covering the week 1 of the Big 3. We will be in Dallas this weekend covering week 2 of the Big 3. Hopefully us and the Real Talk crew will start chatting a little bit about that on our shows a little bit more, show some up to Cube. But yeah, definitely do that. Like, subscribe, comment, Ray, it's all yours.
Absolutely. But no, and I wanted to say on top of that, make sure y'all go download the app. I was on there. Real Talk. We got, I think, 13 to 14 videos on there. So I can go back and rewatch this greatness. You can see Ray Stradamus predicting the future in all things sports. You can see Ray educating both young and old on what a point guard is, as well as what greatness.
Yeah, you hear that shit?
I'm trying not to.
Listen, I'm just telling you, the people who you see, we got Biggie greatness, we got Martin Luther King greatness. I'm all of that in one. This network allows me to flourish in those ways. Dev has been a writer. You see all this purple back there. NFL is coming. I know we've been talking a lot of basketball, but after Summer League, it's pretty much NFL time. So
spring training, what, 2 weeks?
2 weeks. So yeah, definitely stay
training
tuned.
camp, spring training camp.
We talked about the Ice Cube stuff. He's come out. He's on his tour. So definitely go check out what he had to say on Joe Rogan's podcast. I'm sure he's going to have more to come. We'll get more and more interviews with him as we can. We had Mike Hughes jump on and give us the exclusive last episode. So make sure you have the notifications turned on. We go live on a regular basis. ASAP is moving. ASAP is doing things. Tap in, like, share, and subscribe, as Jay said. Y'all have an amazing weekend. 4th of July is until Tuesday. So we'll see y'all before then, but stay safe out there. And yeah, stay tuned for all the breaking news that ASAP's going to put out. You never know. When Tom Brady retired, we had a live show. So if we get some good things going, we might just jump on, and I don't want y'all to miss it. So stay tuned. Check out Dev and everything he's doing over there. He got a bunch of thoughts. He's covering the Ravens and all the cool stuff that they're doing. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all, and we will see y'all later.